Good
morning. It's time for us to start our meeting, and we've also formed a quorum. So let's start. This is a special meeting. We'll first invite the officials and the deputations and individuals to enter the conference room.
Good
morning. The purpose of this special meeting is to listen to the views of the deputations and members of the public in relation to the establishment of a unified information and communications technology professional recognition framework in Hong Kong. Here I'd like to welcome the representatives of the Task Force on ICT Professional Development and Recognition. And from the administration, we have the Government Chief Information Officer and his deputy. I'd like to remind you that you can wear your earpiece. You can choose your channel. Channel 0 is floor, Channel 1 is Cantonese, and Channel 2 is English, and Channel 3 is Putonghua. I'd also like to remind you that apart from LegCo members and designated officials, all participants will not be protected by the LegCo Powers and Privileges Ordinance, both in terms of their verbal and written remarks. We have very few people in the public gallery, so I don't think anybody will stir up trouble there. So I don't need to give you the soft reminder. In a moment, I have to attend a PAC public hearing on the Mega Event Fund for 4 hours. And then therefore I have to invite our Deputy Chairman, Dr. Elizabeth Kwok, to chair the meeting. Good morning. Mr. Charles Mok. A number of members and I received a letter from the participants. They said that they're only given 2 minutes each to speak. At the last public hearing, each deputation or individual was also given 2 minutes. I understand that our schedule is already fixed. It's difficult for us to increase that to 3 minutes. The writer of that letter would like to increase the speaking time to 3 minutes. So I'd like to tell you and the chairman that in future, if possible, sufficient time should be given to the participants to speak. I think we cannot change today, otherwise the whole meeting will be delayed. Deputations and individuals, please be reminded that those attending meetings in the electrical complex and those in the public gallery should read the guidelines attached to the letter from the Secretariat to you. And you should note the security measures. A copy has also been tabled in front of you. If you don't have a copy, you can obtain one from the security officials. Today we're altogether have 63 deputations and individuals. The first session will last from 9 a.m. to 10:40 a.m. Then we'll have a short break before we start the second session. I'll now invite the deputation and individuals to speak one by one. As we said, the speaking time is limited to 2 minutes. You only need to highlight the salient points in your submission. If you have already sent in a submission, you don't need to repeat the submission or read the whole submission out because you won't have enough time. For the received written comments, they've already been uploaded to the electrical website and distributed to members. If you don't yet have a submission or have supplementary remarks, you're welcome to submit them after the meeting. When you speak, please try as far as possible not to use both English and Chinese. Otherwise, you may cause inconvenience to simultaneous interpretation. First of all, Dr. Mok, I'm speaking on behalf of our president. Our society is set up in the 1970s. We're the biggest professional society and most representative in Hong Kong. For this proposed unified ICT recognition framework, it has already been proposed by our sector for many years, but has not been realized for many, many years. This is to recognize the professional status of our sector and to establish our overall image. It is also to have clearer career and professional developments for us. The proposals are based on the existing professional qualifications, including those HKITP established in 2007 by the Computer Society. CPIT is to ensure that our members attain professional standards. Besides, the professional framework can absorb and attract more young talents and choose ICT-related subjects and join the sector. Then the overall workforce will be more mature. Given the market adjustments, enterprises, particularly SMEs, can at a reasonable cost to employ good standard employees with quality and good achievements. This will also bring in more protection for us and to enhance the knowledge of the community on our profession. For the ICT Bureau and the other proposals should be implemented as soon as possible so that we can interface with the mainland framework, such that our professional qualifications can be more broadly recognized so that we can extend our opportunities in terms of career. Next, Hong Kong Institution of Engineers, Dr. Chan. I represent the Hong Kong IE. For the proposal in the consultation document, we support the recommendations. That is to have a uniformed ICT professional recognition framework. Number 2, the contents of the electrical paper are basically supported by us. Together with the other stakeholders, we should enhance and implement the recommendations. Number 3, our institution agrees that the proposed framework can enhance the recognition and image of the profession to ensure that the framework can be recognized such that qualified personnel can attain professional standards to ensure that people recognized by the framework can attain professional standards. Number 4, our institution is of the view that the standards set under the framework must interface with the international standards such that personnel recognized under the framework attain professional standards. Number 5, our institution is of the view that for qualifications vetting, we must have a sound system to attain the 3 goals: to establish professional standards, to be open, public, and have a high degree of transparency. Number 3, different individuals can have different developments and enhancement. These are the remarks of the Hong Kong IE on the proposal. Next, Mr. Wu.
Ladies and gentlemen, I represent the British Computer Society Hong Kong section. Okay.
Would you please move your microphone nearer to your mouth?
The world. Over the years, BCS has devoted tremendous effort in promoting and facilitating professionalism, professional recognition, skills training and certification, and continuing in professional development. As an overseas section of BCS, we share the same goals and obligations as being practiced at headquarters. After consulting with my committee, we supported direction to establish a unified ICT professional recognition framework in Hong Kong. We believe this can help to boost ICT professionalism and raise the status of ICT professionals in the community. We are also pleased to see that the proposed framework is based on severe foundation, which BCS is a core member and a key contributor in its development. However, we see the proposal that many ICT associations, industrial associations, SMEs, and the user communities have not been properly consulted. We feel that in order to make it work, it is absolutely critical to ensure their buy-in, as the members are also stakeholders who can be affected by the implementation of this framework. The unified framework is somewhat like one of the pillars of building foundation. In broader perspective, without the support of other pillars, for example, encouraging greater demand for ICT from SMEs, public and private sectors, facilitating ICT innovation from concept to brand, facilitating export of Hong Kong ICT solutions, etc. Without these, the framework will have very limited meaning to the profession and to the community. We therefore urge the government to take serious and necessary steps to build the rest of the pillars in parallel and do it fast. Thank you.
Next, Dr. Chung. I represent the Institution of Engineering and Technology, Hong Kong. Our institution supports the government's proposal to set up this framework. Apart from supporting the proposed framework, we would like to put forth the following proposals. First of all, we agree that the government should take the lead. How to take the lead? For example, during the recruitment exercises of the government or in ICT-related projects, the government should first of all recognize this framework such that the framework can be recognized in the profession and the community and to enhance the image of the framework. Besides, we agree that there must be mutual recognition internationally for this framework. Given globalization, just to recognize our members would not be enough because many of our members participate in major international projects. So international mutual recognition is very important to us. Number 3, we're of the view that the Board of Governors should take an advisory role. That is to introduce the state-of-the-art or regular ICT-related skills and technology, such that our members can enhance themselves regularly. Number 4, for this framework, it must have a sustainable review or continuous review, such that the framework can be regularly reviewed to ensure that titles awarded to our members will advance with time, and to make sure that our members have the latest knowledge. Next, Dr. I represent the Hong Kong Software Industry Association. We're one of the major trade associations related to software. I won't read out our submission. Concerning the proposed framework and the arrangements, we are very perplexed. There are 10-odd people in the task force. Apart from government officials, we have professors and the professional representatives from 3 professional bodies. Well, we understand that, but what about the bosses and the operators? So you're actually decorating an ivory tower. After that, you will put it in a cupboard. It can't be used. Now, this profession is to assist bosses and operators to earn money. So if you don't invite the trade associations and chambers of commerce to give you views, in future the framework cannot be used. The mainland will be the biggest user. They have a lot of accreditation procedures and frameworks. So if members of the trade associations and chambers of commerce are not included, how can you gain professional recognition from our counterparts on the mainland? We have system integration, etc., etc. But then companies are not involved, and you only have professional members in your task force. How can we earn money in future? All right, you have the proposals here. And in future, we'll have a new ICT bureau. The electrical members are also worried that in future, the buck will be passed between the old bureau and the new bureau. The new bureau will say that it's the business of the old bureau, not their business. So I don't think just one department can represent us. The new bureau will more broadly implement the framework. Thank you. Next, Mr. Wong. I represent the Hong Kong Information Technology Federation. We're celebrating our 35th anniversary. We have about 300 to 400 large, medium, and small-sized firms as our members. Many years ago, Mr. Sin Chung Kai already suggested professional recognition. This is a very correct direction for Hong Kong to advance. So we must have a good framework. We support that. That will help enhance the image and recognition of the profession and to make the profession even more professionalized. And this framework should be open to different sectors of the community and interface with the whole world, to the whole international community. And we need to have interaction with the mainland. The crux of the matter is to proceed to legislate on this, and then we can improve as we move on. 10 odd years ago, when we have the IT bubbles, many people joined the profession and problems resulted. Firms hired people at high cost. When the bubbles burst, nobody wants to study the discipline. And then wages are shelved for 5 to 8 years. Wages went up and down without a system. During those 5 to 8 years, we can see that in universities, less and less students chose the IT subject. So we have a serious problem. And given this apps era, when we can contribute, we have this vacuum for 5 to 8 years with no graduates from the profession, affecting our long-term development. So this proposed framework should be set up as soon as possible so as to allow us to have sustainable development. Internet Professional Association. We are very concerned about the recommendations.
But the government has hastily proposed, before this proposal, and is conducting a so-called pseudo-consultation, and we're not very satisfied. I think a united ICT professional recognition framework will affect tens of thousands of practitioners, and I don't think we should act in haste. The government has first appointed a consultative committee comprising professors and professionals, but the SMEs have not had an opportunity to participate, and the so-called consultation was only lip service. The proposals we put forward during the consultation had not been reflected in the electrical paper. So what kind of consultation is that? The so-called professional representatives should be nominated by professional bodies, and it could give the impression that they have been nominated to defend vested interests. The British Computer Society has already set up a professional recognition framework, and in 2007, there was a CPIT recognition. I visited the website. So far, 189 people have obtained the qualification. Compared with more than 10,000 members, that qualification has not been widely accepted. The OGCI, being the former chairman of the Hong Kong Computer Society, has hastily put forward this proposal and is not trying to avoid any conflict of interest. I believe all of you are professional people of high integrity, but you need to be seen to be fair. The registration qualification doesn't provide for API and continuous operation. So the proposal have not been thought out thoroughly. So I think the administration should conduct more extensive consultation before it implement the proposal. Thank you. Next, Mr. Sung. I represent the Internet Society Hong Kong. In the ICT profession, many different areas of work and technologies are involved. There is an urgent need to set up a professional recognition framework in Hong Kong in order that we can ascertain the professional status and experience of our practitioners. If you have an employer, looking at an employee, the employer may not know whether this person who has graduated from an ICT course can actually undertake tasks relating to ICT, or if the employer is trying to develop some technologies, he doesn't know whether or not the employee has the ability. And regarding professional status, many practitioners believe or have the feeling that they are not being respected because there is no qualification recognition framework to recognize a professional status. I've been in the ICT security work for many years. Previously, I need to go to the United States to sit for some examination and introduce the professional qualification in Hong Kong. Well, after we have these professional qualifications, does it mean that we don't need a recognition framework? In Hong Kong, I think we need such a recognition framework to help us measure or evaluate the professional qualifications awarded by different institutes and decide whether or not they actually suit our needs, so that the practitioners will have the professional status to protect the ICT industry.
Members of the panel, as an IT professional in Hong Kong, I support the establishment of a professional recognition framework for the information and communication technology industry. This is a fact that ICT is embedded in all aspects of modern life. The quality of ICT solutions has a direct impact on the well-being of the society as a whole. The establishment of a professional recognition framework will benefit Hong Kong not only for the ICT industry, but for all the industries and the society as a whole. In the area of quality of products and services, sustainable development of ICT workforce, and overall effectiveness of ICT's application. I would urge the government to take the leadership to establish and promote a professional recognition framework for the ICT industry. In other words, it's not just about the ICT industry, but for all industries. And it's not just about cost, but effectiveness, quality, reliability, safety, and security. Thank you.
Next, Mr. Chang. Thank you. We're a major bank relying a lot on the use of ICT. I strongly support the proposal to set up a united ICT professional recognition framework in Hong Kong. This framework will enable us to more easily recruit capable and qualified ICT professionals and service providers to ensure that we can, in a timely and appropriate manner, implement our ICT projects. Qualified practitioners and service vendors can more effectively, promote ICT systems so that we can enhance customer satisfaction and enhance our competitiveness in the market. We'd like to reiterate that other than the competence of the practitioners, the professional code of ethics is also very important. The proposed recognition framework has also taken care of this. We also welcome the proposal that the framework should be voluntary based and that it should unpack initially at the professional level. And this will not affect the practitioners who are at the technical level. This is a pragmatic approach. It will also allow us to flexibly decide on the number of recognized professionals depending on the work on hand. ICT now is now an indispensable part of different industries in Hong Kong. We need to promote a more vibrant ICT profession in Hong Kong and to build up the public's confidence in this profession. I hope honourable members will give us your support so that the ICT profession so that the professional recognition framework can be implemented as soon as possible. Next, Mr. Lee. Madam Chair, I represent the Hong Kong Computer Society CIO Board. Our members comprises the heads of the IT division of the largest corporations in Hong Kong. We are the major employers of ICT professionals. We've hired more than about 10,000 ICT professionals. We're also the major buyer of ICT facilities. The amount of procurement amounting to several tens of billions of dollars. Our members are in possession of the most advanced ICT systems, providing support to different enterprises and public utilities. We strongly support the proposal to set up this united ICT professional recognition framework. This has been the aspiration of the industry for years. As the ICT system become more and more complex and there are more and more impact on the daily lives of the public, our professional requirements of ICT professionals have never been more stringent. If we hire the wrong person, or if there's any mismatch of talents, it may result in critical systems breaking down because of mismanagement, and thus adversely affect the operations of our Hong Kong economy, the daily lives of the people, and even public security and Hong Kong's reputation may be affected. The professional recognition framework will provide an authoritative recognition framework, award the qualification to ensure that we can hire the right people. Furthermore, this framework can enable young graduates or young people who are just joining the ICT profession, whether they work in large and small enterprises. We can actually provide for the articulation pathway to give them more career prospects and ensure that they get a reasonable salary. Well, this framework represents a major milestone, and we hope the members will support the proposal. Mr. Lokendro.
Good morning. I'm a seasoned CIO representing one of the largest employees of IT in Hong Kong, and we support the recommendations of the Unified ICT Framework. We believe it gives employers a degree of surety of the quality of the people we employ. It gives us the ability to also view the suppliers of ICT as to the quality of their employees on significant projects here in Hong Kong. It enables us as employers to also invest in ICT training for our employees and to provide a career path for them to further their talent and contribution into the organisations. I have been very fortunate to provide input into the framework from a private sector point of view and a company point of view, such that this program is meaningful to employers of large ICT talent here in Hong Kong. The difference we find between the framework and other notable IT accreditations is that this framework requires experience as well as the theoretical. The structural roadmaps allow a clear path for ICT professionals to further develop their own personal development, and we find that there are a shortage of some qualifications that are suitable here to us as employers in Hong Kong. We seek the honourable member's support to implement the framework as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Ma 先生.
Mr. Ma, thank you. The Hospital Authority, as one of the major employer of ICT professionals and the use of ICT services, we support the government's proposal to set up this ICT professional qualification recognition framework on a voluntary basis. We believe that this proposal can further enhance Hong Kong's the quality standard of the practitioners in Hong Kong and attract new talents to join the industry. It can also promote the career development of the ICT professionals. The Hospital Authority will carefully study the proposed framework and its details, and when we will also are willing to work in tandem with the government when the proposal is implemented. Thank you. Mr. Zhang has yet to arrive, so Madam Wong.
The members of the Legislative Council. I'm representing the IT section of CMA and also the Honour Chairman of ISIA. I believe the Unified Information and Communication Technology Framework is a good intention to raise professional services elements in major industries of Hong Kong, such as the other industries in accountancy, financial, and also the legal. And we have heard so often hearing that Hong Kong is devaluating ourselves. And I believe the more professional services participants within the framework would increase more measurable values of Hong Kong. Professional services requires years of best IT practices. Quality to deliver require results and commitments to international require work process. In the meantime, IT practitioners are not being recognized as the qualifying professional workers. For this reason, IT-related services is difficult to increase source of income, cannot quote professional rates to customers in Hong Kong in the international market and mainland China market. Therefore, a qualification scheme must be in place for keeping Hong Kong as one of the most important source of providing IT professional services. The second point is recognition of IT professionals in the international marketplace is important because IT professionals of Hong Kong will align similar recognition with international IT professional framework or platform. This is such much required in today's international city.
跟住石生，唔該。
Mr. Chair. Good morning, Lady Chair. I am Chair. My name is Chair from the Hong Kong SME Enterprise Association. ICT has gravely major impact on the daily life. You look at the incident of Snowden and so on. ICT affects not only national security and even every aspect of our daily lives. For SMEs, it even determines our survival. Under the circumstances, we believe that there are a few things that we must do. There is a great need for us to immediately set up a professional recognition framework and to lay down and to screen out those who are not qualified. We agree with the proposals and also the proposal to implement this in phases. In order to help the SME, we need the professional framework before we can manage these people well. I think SMEs like ourselves, we need a large number of professionals at different levels. We are really lagging behind, so we should immediately, implement the professional qualification recognition framework. And this framework should put priority on professional code of ethics, and we also hope that in secondary schools, vocational training institutions, we will be able to train up more people who can actually join the profession. Finally, we agree that the proposed framework should be implemented as soon as possible. Mr. Lam. Thank you. I represent Hewlett Packard Hong Kong. We support the proposal to set up a united ICT professional qualification framework, and I'd like to make a couple of points, some of which may overlap with Mr. Shares. First of all, we believe that this framework is not easy to set up because ICT is changing with the times. If you want a good framework, we need to change with the times and ensure that the certificates that are being awarded will be can catch up with the times and the development of technology. Mr. Shea made a point about professional integrity. In the ICT profession, this is particularly important. ICT professionals will be will have access to different forms of confidential information. Thirdly, we hope that the Secretariat of this qualification recognition framework will help us verify the ICT vendors. Right now, it takes us a lot of time to verify such information. Finally, the framework, it is proposed that you need a critical mass before the scheme will become self-sustainable in 3 years' time. So I think we need to promote the framework among university graduates and students attending the Ivy institutions. Thank you. Next, Mr. Zhang. Thank you. I am the Managing Director of Jardine One Solution Limited. We have more than 1,000 employees in Hong Kong and 3,000 overseas. We support the proposal to set up the United ICT Professional Recognition Framework to resolve the long-term problem of a serious shortage of ICT talents. We have a shortage of talents because many young people and ICT practitioners who do not think that the ICT profession is an industry, a profession that they can be proud of. They also think that the ICT profession, in ICT, the work they need to do is not commensurate with the pay, so we have high attrition rate, we are not able to attract new talents. So a united ICT recognition framework can help enhance the status and the job satisfaction and the remuneration for the ICT professionals, and thus attract young people to the profession. Furthermore, the target of the framework are pegged at the professional level, so it will enable, it will give the ICT professionals a target so that they can aim to achieve this professional qualification standards. And qualified ICT professionals can help enhance our productivity, will expedite our operational capabilities, and it will benefit both the industry and the whole society. The ICT professional recognition framework can help the practitioners to have more pride in the profession, and it will have long-term impact on the industry. I've worked in the ICT industry for 20 years, and at the same time I am a professional accountant. I have taken part in the work of the Hong Kong ICPA, and I have good understanding of how the profession will have far-reaching impact on the industry. I urge government to, all the honourable members to support this proposal.
Dr. Lee is on his way, so let's invite Ms. Leung. I represent Arcotech Limited. I'm the Chief Operating Officer. We have about 100 staff. We were founded in 2001. We have submitted 12 points to the Secretariat, so I'm not going to repeat all of them. I'll just highlight the main points and my views. First of all, we support the establishment of the Unified Information and Communications Technology Framework. We have secured ISO 9001 and 27001, but in terms of manpower, we think the trade should unify the framework for different recognition schemes. When we receive application letters from prospective employees, a lot of people say they are university graduates, but we don't know what their expertise are. ICT is ever changing. Today we are talking Microsoft. Tomorrow it might be Linux. If there is a professional recognition scheme, then we will know the expertise of the candidates more. So we hope this recognition framework will be put in place as soon as possible. In terms of the recognition body, we should have more SMEs as members. Mr. Tam. I am Tam Kwok Kyu from Infotech Services, Hong Kong Limited. We are one of the main ICT manpower service providers in Hong Kong. We have close to 20 years of experience in the market. We face labor shortage in the ICT industry. According to a report by VTC, from now till 2016, the number of graduates in this field will continue to decrease. ICT is very important towards Hong Kong's economy. Hopefully, one of the goals is to allow employers to hire more ICT professionals while lowering the costs and risks. The scheme will focus on professional levels and later on technologist levels. In terms of the technologist level, we face severe shortage. VTC anticipates 490 vacancies every year in the ICT industry, and they recommend hiring graduates from overseas universities or institutions. Practitioners who have reached middle age face difficulty in employment. Through vocational training, they can obtain professional qualifications and re-employment in the market. And those who have qualifications in other fields such as the sciences, they also need support. Thank you very much, Mr. Yan. Mr. Yan. I'm Executive and Chief Executive Officer of Sunny Vision Holdings Limited. As a data center, we urge the members to support this scheme. A unified ICT professional recognition scheme is important to many companies in this ever-changing age. No matter for SMEs or big corporations, this framework is very important, and it brings convenience. When they hire employees, they will better understand their professional qualifications, and this also brings convenience in terms of training. They can choose to train the right employees or give them examinations. I'll just try to illustrate what corporations think about this issue. If you want to dine outside, then you can use a website like OpenRice, and these websites are really very convenient to you. So what are the controversies for an ICT professional recognition scheme? This might not be the best illustration, but my point is, in general, facing the issue of professional recognition, many companies are actually in need for a unified recognition framework. And this can greatly bring convenience to recruitment and training. I fully support this scheme, and I support the immediate launch of this scheme. Mr. Lam, we are a homegrown IT SME. As an SME, we need a trustworthy third-party authority to recognize our to ascertain our professional qualifications. Right now, we have to rely on standards such as ISO 9001 and 27001, and we support the suggestion to set up a professional recognition body for ICT recognitions in order to ascertain the abilities of ICT professionals, and this helps us as well as our clients. And this way we can ensure our service quality and overall system stability. We understand the challenges in executing this framework, so we hope it should be voluntary in basis, and it should be able to interface with international standards. And this framework should be promoted in other countries like China and India or the United States, and this can help us reach out to the world. The qualifications framework should be treated in a holistic manner, and it extends to the whole company and not just the IT department. And the recognitions should extend to our products. Professor Leung. As a lecturer and engineer, I have the following suggestions. ICT is very important to Hong Kong. It's also essential. Hong Kong has 4 pillar industries, and the key of these industries is ICT. If we have a few hours of downtime, what will happen? A lot of crucial computer and network systems, the failure in which will cause significant losses as well as safety problems and human lives. For example, train systems or piloting systems. And the new economy of Hong Kong depends on the success of ICT itself and its support to other industries. Tencent, Alibaba are success stories, and Hong Kong has already missed so many opportunities. And we have to help our startup companies. We need the best ICT professionals to ensure computer security, to fight computer hackers and virus attacks. And the debugging IT professionals need a long time, and a lot of manpower is needed for tasks like debugging and troubleshooting. So we need a lot of ICT professionals. We need to improve the standing of ICT professionals in Hong Kong, just like other professionals like lawyers and accountants, in order to appeal to the best talents in Hong Kong and abroad. We need a unified recognition framework which is fair, open, and transparent in order to reach national and international standards. And this framework can unify different professional bodies that has existed. Professor Ng, I represent the Department of Computing, the Hong Kong Polytechnic University. In my paper, we have 6 points outlining our support for the framework. and this can improve Hong Kong's professional standing and recognition in the global arena. However, we have to take note of a few points. The standards of different professional qualifications. Second, the participation of different stakeholders. Third, how do we interface with international standards? Dr. Ng, the Hong Kong Institute of Engineers IT Division supports the establishment of an ICT professional recognition scheme framework in Hong Kong. On the electrical document number 524, we support the ICT professional recognition scheme framework, and different stakeholders should work hard to optimize this proposal. Such framework can improve the recognition of the relevant practitioners, the ICT practitioners. Such standards should meet the global market in order to safeguard the recognition of the relevant standards, and such standards should be transparent and fair in order to ensure professional standards and facilitate the development of ICT. And our targets can extend from the professional levels to technologist levels in order to provide a clear career path for youngsters, in order to appeal for more young blood. And this way, more students will choose to enter ICT. Mr. Chen. I've been in the IT industry for almost 20 years, and I have some concerns towards this framework proposal. Someone said IT professionals should be like accountants and lawyers, and the difference, I think, is that we don't have a set of guidelines and tasks like programming, development, technology development. These can be done anywhere, and companies can make use of cloud technology, VPN, to support the deployment. And as such, recruitment of many companies depend on cost. I've heard many cases that companies are moving their IT department to China or Singapore. So I do have doubts whether this framework will be able to attract new talents. And IT is a creative industry as well as a professional industry. So there's an element of creativity. So how do we balance the interest between creativity and professional practitioner? If IT becomes a professional, becomes a proper profession, just like lawyers and accountants, will they be? Can they be sued or accused of professional misconducts? And do they have to take out insurance for this? I hope the government can clarify this stance. If the framework is in place, will we have conflicts of interest or people placing their personal interests above the whole? I represent the E-Education Alliance, the e-learning consortium. Many people support this framework to improve the overall competitive edge of Hong Kong. Manpower training and professional development are very important, and as such, we have to make ICT recognizable in Hong Kong, and we have to work continuously to improve its standing in Hong Kong in order to establish a comprehensive ICT framework. we have to continue to train IT professionals and enhance their recognition in Hong Kong. With a professional framework, we can improve the reputation of ICT professionals in Hong Kong and attract more new blood in this industry. And this way, we can consolidate Hong Kong as a knowledge-based economy. For ICT practitioners, the framework can provide standards, unified standards, and ensure that practitioners can meet certain standards. And we can set out a clearer path for the entire industry, and employers, we can make it easier for employers to recognize qualified practitioners and service providers in order to raise overall product standards. And this provides protection to employers. And the unified standards allow employers to assess the employees or prospects more easily. And this, again, helps safeguard overall service standards. The framework should be built on recognized global standards in order to ensure the trade. I'm Yuan Wang, Secretary General of the E-Education Alliance. Like other bodies, we think this framework scheme requires optimization. We support the framework. However, with our society ever-changing, can we really achieve our goals under this scheme? We hope the government, the members, can consider carefully. First, the government does not bear any responsibility, and it does not share costs with SMEs. Does anyone know that the Google SEO uses Panda? In many cases, we have to do the learning ourselves. ICT is ever-changing, and we cannot lag behind outdated frameworks and standards. Can this framework really help ICT practitioners? Many IT brands like Cisco and Oracle are big companies. If they need recognition via a framework, it's unimaginable. Even though the scheme takes reference from mainland standards, there is no interfacing with mainland standards. We have a lot of ICT professionals working with the mainland, so we do need interfacing. The government should take its time and carry out further consultation with the public. Right now, the consultation papers are empty and there is no specific content, and the government should think it over. We think the ICT should take over this task before we waste any more public money. Mr. Ao Yang Kong Wing, I'm from the DAB, Hong Kong. We are neutral towards this framework proposal. The biggest problem facing the IT industry these days is not quality problem. The biggest problem is manpower shortage and youth development. The quality of IT professionals won't be improved through this framework. At the same time, it aggravates the problem of manpower training for many SMEs. And many employers won't choose to come to Hong Kong.
And there are many job types in our sector. In future, will the program language, software, and terms of reference of our profession be recognized professionally? As we said, science and technology are ever advancing. Can ICT catch up with such advancements? Don't forget that higher education institutions and universities have all got these programs. We all have stringent, internationally recognized programs in these universities and institutions. So why do we need another professional framework? As regards other job types and programs, there are also international frameworks for recognition. So why do we need a redundant framework? As for interfacing with the mainland and the international community, we still have uncertainties. With so many uncertainties, the ICT Bureau is to be established very soon. So why should we hastily have this uniform framework? We should look at training resources for youngsters. And for human resources policy for the IT sector, a more perfect scheme should be proposed. Next, Ms. Lee. Good morning. For this proposal for a unified ICT professional recognition framework in Hong Kong, it will help the ICT professionals to enhance their professional status and image. And in terms of management and implementation of ICT services and system confidence, the whole community will be able to have more confidence in the profession and to attract more young people to join the profession. But the government should more broadly invite other ACT stakeholders to participate in this consultation exercise. For example, the trade associations, chambers of commerce, and other professional bodies in mapping out the detailed arrangements so as to attain the goals set for this framework. At the same time, an objective set of criteria can be set for the employers so that they can identify the qualified personnel for recruitment. This will also protect the business sector, and more stakeholders should be invited to give their views. The framework should also interface with the inland, mainland, and international frameworks so as to attain broader mutual recognition. Thank you very much. Now I'd like to invite the task force convener, Task Force on ICT Professional Development and Recognition to speak. 2 minutes also. I thought I will have 3 minutes. No, also 2 minutes. Professor Chin. Thank you, Madam Chairman. I'd like to thank the deputations and individuals for their remarks. The task force proposes an independent, professional, unified recognition framework. We are undergoing a consultation exercise and would like to report to you as follows. ICT is very important in Hong Kong, but the profession does not have a high status, and there's no or not sufficient recognition, and we have insufficient human resources, and then recognition is not enough as well. Let me say more about insufficient human resources and recognition. In the United States, I've been teaching the discipline for over 40 years. Parents are very concerned. The ICT profession is developing very rapidly. For parents in Hong Kong and the mainland, they like the ICT professionals to be doing the same as what the lawyers, accountants, architects, etc. are doing. They wouldn't want their children to just get engaged in electronic games. And they're also worried about the bubble bursting. Now, this proposed framework is voluntary and open. It's an open platform. It shouldn't be a rigid one. IT is about creativity. Besides, this is not the single action of the government. It's actually led by the profession because the government reacts slowly and is not flexible enough. So I would like the academia and the profession to take the lead. Members, would you like to speak? Dr. Lo Wai Kwok, I've been engaged in ICT for over 40 years. For a very, very long time, we are short of human resources. One of the major objectives of this framework is to attract more young people and other professionals to join the profession such that the ICT profession can develop prosperously. The proposed framework will enhance the professional qualification and image of the profession and to map out clearer development and career directions for the profession and to nurture the interest and confidence of the young people such that they will take up such disciplines in tertiary institutions. This is Engineer Lau from the profession speaking. Professionals will be better equipped with competence to enhance productivity and product quality. The overall value and professional standard and professional conduct as well as quality will be enhanced as a result of this framework. Thank you, Madam Chairman. Engineer Pang. Thank you, Madam Chairman. Concerning the contents of the proposal, I won't supplement anymore. But as a professional, I'd like to abide by certain principles. From the remarks just now, there's a strong message. That is, we have strong support for the proposed framework. They have affirmed the necessity of this framework and would like to see that implemented as soon as possible. But the core values are fair, just, and neutral for this framework. Participation and interfacing are very important. So I heard these aspects. As a member of the task force, I believe that in the past 1.5 years or so, the work direction and core values of the task force are these aspects. Just now I heard certain remarks that made me feel not very comfortable. That is, in recent times, Professor Chin is leading the academia and the general public in certain aspirations. That is, in the past 2 decades, we're not able to take the first step, so we would like to do something. I can say that government support is very important, but this is not a task given to us by the government. We placed a great deal of hard work in this task. Some stakeholders were of the view that we should do more. I attach importance to that remark. Any more? Dr. C? Hello. I think many of them here are my friends. We know one another. I'm representing SMEs in the task force. I'm an SME operator or boss. Of course, not all of us are members of the engineering institution, although I'm one. In the work of the task force, I can see that we are a very open task force. We accept different views. Our objective is for the benefit of the public and the profession. We've made recommendations for the long-term interest of the profession. The profession has been slighted by the community. The professionals don't enjoy a high status. So with all the stakeholders, we'd like to enhance that situation. Yes, sometimes we don't have that many members participating at our meetings, but we have to be fair, just, and highly transparent. We should have different directions of development and enhancement. Thank you, Chairman. Next, Engineer Lee. Thank you, Madam Chairman. Just now, we heard a lot of good views, but there's one point that we've not paid attention to. Upon the establishment of the framework, professional conduct and professional morality will be emphasized. So we'll have a code of conduct and a code of practice. Take, for example, an SMEs with 10-odd employees also has to use computers. So a computer engineer or computer is hired. And one day, this employee tells the boss, "Sorry, boss, I've deleted the whole file," which carries all the particulars of the customers, or the sales records are deleted or made wrong. Well, that person will only resign. There's no alternative and no remedy. So with this framework, such employees will be bound by professional codes or code of conduct. So making such mistakes, he will have to switch to another profession. He can't continue in the same profession. So with this framework, we can have more safeguard for our professional standard and ethics. All right, it's time for members to ask questions. Well, originally, the chairman said that each member should get 2 minutes, but I think we can have 3 minutes. Charles Mark, Lo Wai Kwok, Emily Lau, and who else? Christopher Chong, Stephen Ho. Well, I think we should have enough time for all of them. Mr. Charles Mark, Madam Chairman, I have to declare that I am a member of the Task Force on ICT Professional Development and Recognition. There's a paragraph from an article. For many years, many members of the profession have been dedicated to professional development to establish a professional framework to enhance the social status of the IT professionals. So it is agreeable that there should be such a framework. In 2002, in July, Mr. Sin Chung Kai published a consultation document with support from the IT sector. Representatives were appointed to form a task force for preparation. Well, this is from an article written by Mr. Sin Chung Kai in 2006. At that time, I was one of his constituents, so I saved up his articles and remarks. I think he hasn't got the article now, but I've saved them. So 10-odd years have elapsed, but we still don't have the framework. It doesn't matter whether it's the ICT Bureau or the existing bureau doing the work. Either you ask the OGCIO or the Innovation and Technology Fund to stop working. Maybe you don't trust Mr. Gregory So, you only trust the future ICT Bureau. Well, I don't quite trust him either. Just now, Dr. Hong said that we're hastily and stealthily launching this proposed framework. I don't agree. All along, we've been acting very openly. Well, the task force was not made as big as comprising 32 or 50 members. But it's not true that we've not conducted consultation. After we have gone to the electrical panel, we should have a big gathering for consulting the public, because May and June were initially earmarked for public consultation. So if not for this public hearing today, we should have started the consultation exercise. Well, some bodies or organizations might have been omitted. Here we have the major professional bodies and institutes. But you cannot say that this is false consultation, because the formal consultation exercise has not started yet. Because of this public hearing, the whole issue has been shelved. And so we now have criticisms. I agree that we should proceed with consultation as quickly as possible. Should we wait for the new bureau to be established? I also want it to be established as soon as possible. About 2 weeks ago, the profession was very unified in asking that this job be done well as soon as possible. It's not like what we have today. We're arguing on different issues today. Dr. Lo Wai Kwok, I'm surprised by Mr. Charles Mok's remarks. He said that consultation had not started yet. So why was he criticizing a number of remarks? Well, I am really saddened by what happened decades ago. Here, we have a few friends who, back then, discussed how to enhance the professional recognition for IT professionals. I'm the chairman of the IT division of the Hong Kong Institution of Engineers. And in 2007, I was the president of the institution. As for the proposed framework, back then, Engineer Lau and Engineer Lee and also Mr. Daniel Lai, who then represented the Computer Society, are in Professor Chin's task force. We shouldn't veto the hard work of the task force, but why was there no progress under the task force? Because very early we already suggested that we should have IT engineers or ICT engineers, which should be included in the engineer registration law, that is Cap 409 of the laws of Hong Kong. Back then we did not propose that this be done under the framework, but there's a very important element, that is the statutory body. But that has nothing to do with the profession. But the government refused to face the problem. Now it tells us to try this out first to see whether we need a statutory body. And then the calculation was that the expenditure would be as high as $2 million per year. Given the experience elsewhere in terms of engineer registration, if a professional pay $500 per year as subscription, you need 500 professionals to register in order to get the $2 million. I previously asked about sustainability. I asked whether we should consider the setting up of a statutory body. If we've decided to set up a statutory body, then today nobody will be saying that there may be filibustering in LegCo, we may have difficulties in legislation, etc., etc. Well, this has nothing to do with the task force. It has something to do with the government instead. Ms. Emily Lau. Thank you, Madam Chairman. I'd like to thank the friends here as well as the members of the task force. I'm a layman. In principle, I support ICT development. All along in LegCo, we're saying that Hong Kong is lagging behind in this regard. Recently, some members of the profession came to talk to us, saying that we're lagging behind other jurisdictions like South Korea. And now we're talking about this proposed recognition framework. But still, there are controversies. You see, even the DAB is opposing you, but the chairman supports it. We're told that your status is low. Yesterday, after the Indian election, they have a new government where we were told that many young professionals would go back to India because the U.S. economy was not good enough. Well, given this macro environment, what should the LegCo do? Well, who would like to answer my question? My question, not other people's question. If you want to answer my question, please raise your hand. What should we do? You've had so many problems.
Mr. Joe, I think we should take the first step so that we should allow the task force to be set up to promote this. If we don't take the first step, then you'll never get it done. Mr. Chen. I think we must first of all find out why we're not able to attract talent. It's not because the IT profession doesn't have any social status. The ICT industry is already a profession in Hong Kong. I've been in the field for 20 years. People say that it's good to join the IT industry. There is job security. I don't understand why people are saying that the IT profession doesn't have any social status. Why is it that people are willing to join the profession? Well, first of all, the government has a responsibility. The government's policy regarding creative industries. The government is not able to provide a conducive environment. Let's say if you have a company like Google coming to Hong Kong to set up a data center, it doesn't get any support from the government. For young people who want to create their own careers or develop their own career. Okay, thank you very much. Anyone else? Mr. Wong, followed by Mr. Yip. Many people will want to join the IT profession, especially in the last few years, I think because there are some people like the founders of Facebook who had made huge fortunes. But for almost 10 years, young people are not opting for this this subject or courses at the university. So it's important to set up this framework so that it will work in the long term. So we have two more deputations, Mr. Yip, Mr. Share, Mr. Hong. Okay. Mr. Wong, you're first. Point is that people want to join the industry, but for some time, many secondary students, when they enroll for the university, ICT is the last subject that they would choose. So right now, salaries are very high, but the employers are not able to hire people. As a result, the work has to be done, relocated to the mainland. We need the framework. I think we want to ensure that the people joining the industry can make a good salary and the companies make a profit. China is the largest users of application software, so I don't think we should think of something behind closed doors. We need to communicate. There should be communication among different departments so that companies certified in Hong Kong can find business in China, in the mainland, and locally recognized professionals can also find jobs in the mainland. This has nothing to do with the IT industry. It's actually something, concerning the entire community. It's not just the IT industry which is affected. Many SMEs rely on IT professionals to support their business. Also, it is important that we take the first step. If we don't take that first step, we'll always be stuck. Although the SMEs cannot participate in providing inputs to help formulate the policy, we still need to support the task force. We always criticize the government for not doing anything, and as a result, we're simply being neglected. So today we need to do something. I think the government is being very transparent and open. The government is now listening to the views of all stakeholders. So why are we not also moving in tandem? Well, we talk about the IT Bureau. Just relying on professional recognition will not immediately attract people to join the industry or increase their salaries. Like Eric said, many people want to join the industry and write apps. Now, is there any professional organization that can certify professionals who specialize in writing apps? Not to mention the professional grade. We're talking about those at the charter grade. In the past, the three professional bodies, the BCA and the Hong Kong CIT, I don't know whether the information they put on the website is accurate. They have 13,000 people in the profession. If you have come up with a new method, you ask all these organizations to do the recognition, would that work? First of all, I think the government should, play a leading role to encourage people to use technology. Mr. Sin Chung Kai. Madam Chair, I've been the representative of the IT profession in Hong Kong for 10 years, something which I regret very much is that during my term, I was not able to successfully, promote the professional recognition of ICT professions. After Mr. Daniel Lai has become the OGCIO, he has actively helped promote the professional recognition of ICT practitioners. And I also hope that we'll get support of industry. When I was, during my previous term as electrical member, I found it very difficult for the industry to come to a consensus, and we seem to be repeating the same scenario now. So I have some questions for the deputations who represent the industry. Several of you, in particular, Dr. Hong, Mr. Mok already said that you criticize the government for doing this in a stealthy manner. Are you opposed to the process or the proposal? Also, a question of Mr. Yip and Madam Wong Lai Fong. You say we need to align with the mainland of China. We don't have a track. How can we align with mainland China? We need a track of our own. Even for a through train, you need tracks on both sides before you can connect. Are you opposing to laying the track in Hong Kong or what? Could you, explain clearly what you mean? According to my understanding, the government is now playing the leading role, so that is saying that we should first lay our own track first before we can connect with the mainland. You have not switched on your mic yet. Okay. I support the broad direction, but there's something wrong with the process. I say that the government is acting in haste. I remember a month ago the government conducted some consultation. We put forward some views regarding how we can avoid the impression, giving the impression that there might be conflict of interest, and this is only spearheaded by a small circle. On the question of aligning with other parts of the world, if you lay the track which is a different width from those, say in China, for example, then I think that it will not work. So you need to have a good design for the track. Otherwise, if there's any mismatch, then you may need to rectify the work afterwards. I don't know whether to know. Perhaps the MTR engineers can teach us how we can make the correction. The difference here is that we have some people at senior level who have come up with these proposals behind closed doors. Have you really consulted the professions? I invested in 2 companies producing apps. I have hired 2 people, one majoring in chemical engineering, the other one graduating from the University of Science and Technology, and they are both performing very well. Christopher Chung. I think I would like the 2 of them to answer the question. I don't think we have enough time for that. Thank you. I'm also a member of the Institute of Computer Studies. I'd like to clarify that the DAB does not oppose the proposal, but we have strong views about the proposed structure. I appreciate all the good work done by the task force in promoting this idea, but I think the administration has not explained this proposal clearly to us. You say that when you want to set up this framework, you say that that you allow ICT professionals to come to Hong Kong, but you have not mentioned how our professionals can also get recognition elsewhere. If I were to hire a system programmer, I can't find a talent in Hong Kong, I will resort to global recruitment. Can someone who is certified in the mainland and Southeast Asia apply for the job? And if so, they will, fight for the job with the local talents. Whereas our own practitioners, when they go to the mainland, their qualification is not recognized. So we need to think about this more carefully. We're not objecting to the proposal. You ask Edith. I work with her, on this idea of professional recognition framework. We're not against the proposal per se. We are against the government acting in so much haste. We are saying that the industry already has such recognition framework. It's been in place for more than 40 years. If you, pass paper 2, your qualification is recognized as equivalent to degree level. Why don't we help the industry do it first? Look at the doctors, the accountants, and the other professions. It's always the professional bodies which set the give the recognition. Are there any other professions where the government will do it? Why is it that the government couldn't do this more than 10 years ago? Is it because Sin Chung Gai, simply, succeed? Perhaps when he went to talk to the mainland authorities, they simply ignore him and so on. So through the government, through CEPA, we need to negotiate with the mainland. As SMEs, we need to make a profit. We always go for the place where there's the cheapest supply. If I can commission mainland people to do the programs and the apps, so we put down our signature, but the job is done elsewhere. So I think we should talk to the central government and ask them to recognize our own qualification in Hong Kong as well, so that there will be better prospects for young people who want to join the industry, and there are more people who will study the subject. I'd like to give the floor to Mr. Ma Fong Kwok first. Thank you, Mr. Ho. Originally, I did not intend to ask any question because I need to leave early. However, I like to say that I am all in favor of setting up this recognition framework. There are already some organizations which are, working on qualification recognition. If you come up with a united framework, first of all, you have to convince people that what you do is more helpful than what is already being done by the Institute of Engineers and other similar institutions. And that also for local employers, and that the framework you come up with will be recognized overseas. So I think this is not a question for the trade, but for the government. Has the government done anything in terms of mutual recognition? If you've not done anything at all, I'm worried that you spend a few $1 million on the project, and if the professionals don't find the recognition framework useful and they don't come to register, then the whole thing will not be sustainable. And this is also exceptional. The government is providing funding, but what happens 3 years down the road, they cannot become financially sustainable. If the system doesn't work, you can't attract people who are already registered with the Institute of Engineers and Computers. They already have their qualification recognized. Why do they still need to bother? I know that what you're now doing is focusing on the professional level. For the novice joining the industry, or people who have yet to get professional recognition, you're not looking after these people as well. So how can you ensure that the system will be able to run smoothly? Engineer Pang will answer the question. Mutual recognition. I'll be very brief, okay. One important point is that before you have the framework in place, how can you talk about mutual recognition? I understand that whether it's the work of the government or the work of the industry, I understand that we have already been collaborating with the mainland for a few years, but does it mean that we need to go for mutual recognition? Other than discussing individual qualification, do we have an overall framework so that individual qualifications could be aligned with those of our counterparts in the mainland? I think that's the crucial point. Well, so for your proposed recognition framework, have you considered this? For example, aligning with the mainland, the design of the track and the rolling stock. Have you already made reference of the qualification framework over there? Yes, we have. Mr. Ho Chung Yin, I've just moved in a motion today proposing that we should put on hold this professional recognition framework. But does that mean that we don't support the proposal? That's not the case. Mr. Chung already explained why. What we're saying now is that even for those in the industry, they have strong views about the structure. one deputation talk about those writing apps and programs, and someone is saying that we're talking about at a more professional level, at a charter level. The question is whether or not you can finish this before the end of the year. I really have my doubts. And meanwhile, the ITB is likely to be set up. If there is no more filibustering, it should be able to be set up within this year. But now that we've agree on this proposal, I mean, we seem to be acting in so much haste. If the ITB cannot be set up, then there's no problem. Mr. Grexo, this is the brainchild of Mr. Grexo. He will take care of this, and he will not pass it on to somebody else. And that would be conducive to more steady development. And there won't be any more uncertainties for the industry. And that's what I'm proposing. I also have another question for the administration. According to the paper, what is your proposal is that Mr. Daniel Lai was the former chairman of the Computer Society, Engineer Lau is also the chairman of the Institute of Engineers. So are we talking about, vested interests here? How can you convince the public that there is no conflict of interest here? Now, who would like to respond? The question is why among the task force you have so many members of the Institute of Computers. Mr. Engineer Lee, just one brief point. To some extent, our task force is only a preparatory committee. After we've finished with the public consultation exercise, after we've consulted the public, we will formally set up an organization which will encompass everything that you mentioned. But this is only a preparatory committee. Mr. Lam? Thank you. I also like to clarify that members of the task force do not just include members of the Institute of Computers, also members of the British Institute of Computers, and so on, amongst us. One of the deputation admin works for JOS, is the head, the person in charge at Jardines. He's also a professional person, and he's not just a member of a professional institute. Okay, I think we may now wrap up our discussion for this session. We've also received the motion moved by Mr. Ho Chin Yin, and we'll deal with that before the end of the second session. So we're now going to adjourn for 5 minutes.